bit more longevity. We're not interested in reenacting the stuff and that kind of thing. But we're finding that when we travel around and tell the stories of where this music came from, that people attach to it and understand it in a different way. For instance, Amazing Grace. That was a lot of you know this. Some don't. And certainly, when I was a young boy, I never knew what I was singing about. That saved a wretch like me. I just kept singing that, robotically. I never knew what that meant. It was written by, the lyrics were written by a slave ship captain who, with many Atlantic passages from Liverpool down to Aruba or wherever they were first docking. No, that would have been a Dutch colony. But anyway, whatever were the English islands down there. So many Atlantic passages, and at one point he just said, "What am I doing to myself and my fellow man?" And in a redemptive moment, whether or not he received redemptions, we don't know. But he certainly wrote that song, and so many people universally attached to it. And maybe you think you wonder about the power of that song that was imparted in the lyrics, in the melody, and it's kind of a simple song, but all of these in a certain way are. But there's a complexity in that you have to put a feel into them, and putting a feel that somewhat is source oriented. And this next one sort of proves that. This is imagining the setting of this song. Historians think that this might have been set in southwestern Alabama, southeastern Mississippi. If you know what is right in those corners, that is Mobile Bay. Mobile Bay drains the Alabama River, which comes in from Selma and all of that, where the famous Pettus Bridge was. And also it drains the Tombigbee River, which starts in northern Mississippi. The song's lyrics start with, I'm just giving you a little background, because you can hear me sing about it, and then you'll kind of know, okay, I get that, because I never knew I played this song for a little bit with Richie Higgins, and then I started looking into it. When the sun goes back and the first quail calls, follow the drinking gourd. That's symbolism. It's code for, we're getting ready to have a breakout. But the slave who was getting ready to take the big chance and break away needs to know where north is, of course. That's the direction in that area where the Underground Railroad went. But why was that so hard, you imagine? It's so hard to think of, why is it so hard to go north in a day when we all have GPSs and maps and that sort of thing? The Tombigbee River, much like the Mississippi, winds around on itself, and it'll fool you. And you have to keep your eye on the drinking gourd. That's the name of the song. Keep your eye on the drinking gourd. Follow the drinking gourd. The drinking gourd is a metaphor for the Big Dipper. And when that river keeps winding around on itself for weeks, you might be going south, and then ultimately you'll head north. And the river would source in northern Mississippi, and you have to have faith that you can cross some hills, keep walking across those hills, and you'll find the Tennessee River. Keep walking north, eventually in Paducah, Kentucky, that river will join the Ohio River, and that's where you want to be. Because during those days, in the 1800s, late 1700s, the Ohio River, as big as it is, it's very, very wide there, and it froze over back in those days. You could walk across it. But the thing is, the reason they're saying you got to hit and be on that riverbank at the beginning of wintertime, when the sun goes back and the first quail calls, you've got to be on that riverbank, because it takes you a whole year to walk up that riverbank and be able to cross the Ohio River. And so there's been archaeological evidence of people having walked along those banks, and I just can't imagine traveling mostly at night. A lot of those guys certainly didn't have proper wear for that, having to leave in the wintertime. This is in tribute to those folks who took those chances to try to find a better life. Some did, some made it, some didn't. And this is a beautifully dark song called Follow the Drinking Gourd.